Hi guys, Melvin and Kid here. Welcome back. I'm a little late. Apologize for the lateness of this review. Let's see what happened this week. Oh yeah, there was a thing called Jessica Jones, so I pretty much binge watch the whole thing. Did a review. Go on my main channel and check it out. Got together with my team on the YouTubers core. We did a round table and just went 3 hours talking about this series. So yeah, there was a lot of things there was something that came up, so I had to kind of put my review on hold in a sense. But I'm here to talk about the books that came out for the week of what is this? The week of the 18th, or the came out the 18th, I think. Uh, got a pretty good stack here. Pretty much, we are in basically we got Marvel, got one DC, and a couple of indies as well. So let's talk about these titles, and we're gonna start off. I think I'm gonna do it this time differently. Usually I start off with the Marvel and then with the indies, but I'm gonna start off with least to most. So we're gonna kick it off with DC, and we're starting with issue number 2 of Titans Hunt. Abnett still does a interesting job with this title. Basically, as if you haven't read this, basically what I guess this is implying is that there was a Teen Titans team before, but the members of that team don't remember that they were ever a part of it. And that's kind of the interesting take of it. But um, you got Roy, who's dealing with his demons. He's in Oklahoma and he's about to get arrested. Uh, Mainly, we get to see what's going on with Mal Duncan and his wife, Karen Beecher, aka Bumblebee. Excuse me. She's pregnant with his child, and they're married, and that's cool. You know, they were always a cute couple. Uh, and of course we're still dealing with Dick. You know, Dick is basically trying to figure out, you know, what's going on, who is that woman that was talking to him, and how does she know him, and he's also needs to track down that mysterious Atlantean known as Garth. So there are a lot of things that are going on in this. Of course, also what's going on with Ganar is he has left his little job that he was in because he's done. Something is drawing him somewhere else is needed. But this was good. The ending is really interesting, especially who shows up in the end. I'm not going to spoil who that was. But so far with this maxi series, because it's a 12-parter, I am pretty much enjoying this. I trust Abnett. I like his art, his writing. He's always been a fine writer, in my opinion. So I trust him to continue where he's doing. But this was good. All right, let's move on to let's move on to okay. Let's go to Chapter House Comics with Captain Canuck, number 5. This is number 5. This is issue number 5 of Captain Canuck, and the writing team and art team still do a bang up job with this title. I'm not gonna try to pronounce most of these guys' names because I'll probably butcher it, and I don't want to. And, you know, I always gotta apologize if I butchered anybody's last name or so. But still dealing with Mr. Gold and the captain, and on his side he's got Captain Cap Cap Captain Canuck got his people. Mr. Gold had his people, and then Captain Canuck's brother has his own. So it's like a three-way triangle going on in this situation. But this issue is mainly more a backstory of Captain Canuck's partner, Yebek. I believe that's her name, Yebek. And we get to see how badass this woman is when she was in the military. You know, she was a sniper. You know, just all kinds of stuff. She's badass. You know, this really just foreshadowed how good this woman is and why they make such a good partnership. Uh, but other than that, don't want to ruin too much for you. I do recommend Captain Canuck. You know, this is a character once again who's been around for over 40 years. You know, he's not a new character, and I keep telling people that. I think that a lot of people that see me talk about this, they're like, is that a new character? You know, is he a new character for Alpha Flight? And I'm like, no, this guy's been around. He's a classic character. He's been around, like I said, for 40 years, and he's just making a comeback, a revival, basically. He came out in the 70s, he's a good representative of our neighbors from the Great White North, which is Canada. So yes, he's Canadian. I like that. But good. All right. Uh, let's move on to Vertigo, and we're talking about The Clean Room. Number 2, this is Gail Simone's. Come on, guys, you know me. You know how I feel about her. You know I'm a loyal fan of hers, of Gail. And this is her first comic with the Vertigo lineup. And this continues to get trippier and trippier by the moment, Gail. Um, I tip my hat to you because there are times where I'm reading this, I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, but in this issue alone, we get to see that one of the main characters in here finally gets to meet this woman right here, who is the leader of this kind of cult-like group, but she also has this thing called the Clean Room, and we get to see a little bit more of what the Clean Room really is, and how does it work, and what is the details, things like that. But then we're starting to see like creatures or demons, and like, is this real? And then you got this guy who's talking about white monkeys, and all of a sudden he's seeing white monkeys, and then they attack him, and it gets really trippy. I had to read this again because I'm like, okay, was that real? Did that really happen? But it truly, this can only come from somebody like Gail. The only other person I can think of that could probably pull some sick crap like this off, and I don't mean it crap, okay? I don't mean it crap, but just some sick, twisted stuff like this is probably Neil Gaiman, or I don't even want to mention that nutbag, that weirdo wizard now, because he creeps me out even more anytime. I would not want to be in the room with the guy. So, but this was interesting. This continues to get interesting. It has my attention, Gail. It just gets really trippy. And white monkeys. What more are you gonna bring with this, Gail? But I tip my hat to you, girl. I tip my hat to you. And we talk about another classic character that pretty much is made in a revival, because I just did research on the character before I actually bought the comic. And this is under First Comics, I believe that's what it's called. But it's under Devil Dews. But anyway, the character is Zen Intergalactic Ninja. Uh, Steve Stern and Marat Michaels, I believe that's right. First of all, I like the cover. Cover is beautiful. Beautiful cover. Basically, Zen. This is another character that's been around for a while. They're just making a comeback, a revival. Basically, Zen is a intergalactic bounty hunter. So this is more space odyssey, space comic, which I enjoy. And he is a test tube. You know, he was a basically you say he's a test tube baby. He doesn't, but he's trying to find his own way. But he's really good at being a bounty hunter, and everybody knows him. He was trained by this group of monks. They taught him everything, and then they sent him on his way after, to travel around the whole galaxy. And we get to see that Zen, he brings in bounties. All right, give me my money. He's kind of a no nonsense guy. He doesn't really he talks, but he's just like, just give me my money. Let's go. Uh, he's got a robot manservant that helps him out when he gets back to his ship. But he lands on after he gets some money, he goes to this intergalactic bar and he meets up with one of his friends there, and he's talking about, I don't know who I really am. I don't even know if I'm a parent. I have parents. His friend is like, wait a minute, Zen, are you trying to say you're a test tube baby? And he's like, yeah. And then lo and behold, the beautiful woman. She's green though, but you actually can see her on the cover. That green woman right there, she's on the cover. And she offers Zen a job to find the man who raped her sister and bring him back alive so she can, you don't know what. But she gives Zen some kind of clues of where he he could find her, find this man, and it gets interesting because Zen lands on this planet where it's nothing but beautiful women, and it's like, how do you stay focused when you got a beautiful woman to your left, you got a beautiful woman to your right, to the north, to the south, and it's just like, and each one of them just keep getting beautifuler than the others. So it was interesting. This was fun for us. It's only a 6-part miniseries, but I enjoyed it. It was fun. All right, that's all of the indie and DC. Let us move on to the Marvel. This is my Marvel, and let's start it off with Astonishing Ant-Man #2. Nick Spencer, Rosanza, Sanas, the Brooks. Always these Brooks covers are great. Mark Brooks, he does good artwork. His covers are really beautiful. Basically, this is, once again, now remember, guys, this book kind of takes place past and present, in a sense. Present, Scott is back in jail. Yeah, sucks. But we get to see what was going on prior to him being in jail. And in this issue, basically, it's all about Scott reuniting kind of with his ex-girlfriend who was a part of the Future Foundation with him, she thing. And she is not as happy. We kind of get a sense of what happened. And, once Cassie came back, Scott was like, never was like, okay, and just went right back with Cassie, be with Cassie, and it's kind of left her like really angry and bitter, like, you know, you could have told me. This was kind of felt like a soap opera. This really felt like something out of Days of Our Lives or General Hospital or all those other, soap operas. It was, but just superhero style. This was fun, and especially get to see what was going on with Smith and Grizzly and them, uh, just doing something that they know Scott wouldn't like. But other than that, this was good. This was fun. Mhm. Let's move on to The Black Knight #1. When I heard The Black Knight was Dane Whitman was getting his own series, I was like, I always was a fan of the Black Knight. I liked him when I would read old school Avengers titles. I very much enjoyed him. I enjoyed him when he was part of MI13. So I was like, okay. And in this, we get to see that Dane explains. He gives once again, for all those who don't know who he is, we do get a for those we get a 411 crash course of who Dane Whitman, the Black Knight, was, and he really lives up. That name is straight up real in terms of the Black Knight. When you think of the Black Knight, you think of somebody from the Knight Errant days. He wore black armor and kind of around the time of King Arthur. He explains all that. He very much explains that his legacy goes far, far back, and he's in weird world, and he's kind of like the ruler of that. You know, people he's fighting a battle and war, and we get to see like people are following him, calling him me lord, and you know he doesn't like it, but you know he's just like, he's like, I don't like being called that. Just look, my name is just say Dane, my lord Dane. Come on, you know, stuff like that. It's really funny, but he gets a lot of stuff from the modern era, and he's like, yeah, that keeps me sane. But he keeps going about invaders that are coming. We don't know who these invaders are until supposedly possibly at the end. And that is where I'm going to leave it, because at the end, we kind of get to see who these invaders are. But other than that, this was a good start. I enjoyed it very much. Uh, and I'm looking forward to reading more of this. The Black Knight, #1. All right, let's move on to Extraordinary X-Men, excuse me. #2, Lemire really is getting the gist of what is going on with mutant kind, and it's really sad to see. And this Storm is still trying to get together her team. The Rasputin twins, the Rasputin siblings, are tracking down Nightcrawler. And they find a little bit of Nightcrawler. What I mean by that, spoiler alert, they find his tail. His tail. Yeah, that thing that you would see Kurt with the point. Yeah, looks like it was lobbed off. Good thing for them, they tell Bobby to chill it. So if when they find him, they could, I guess, surgically put it back on, you know, Kurt. Bobby and Storm talk to Old Man Logan, and man, it's not a really good, happy reunion. Uh, the Rasputin siblings run across a certain someone who I guess is the antagonist of this arc, and it's an old villain from the Rogues Gallery of the X-Men. Who is that? I won't tell you. You just have to read. We also get to see where X Haven, where mutants are being kept safe, where the location really is, and that threw me for a loop. I was like, what? We also get to see Jean, kind of, like, okay, she's kind of taking a stand now. Like, all right. And we get to see Jean and Old Man Logan reunite. Because remember, in his world, Jean was already dead, so it was interesting to see that them two meet. And there's one more thing else we get to see, is that we get to know who really. I mean, we get to know the Sentinel that Old Man Logan was going to kill. What that Sentinel really is, and I'm not going to spoil what that is, because that right there was another twist that was just like, what? But this was pretty good. Keeping it up. Keep it up, Mr. Lemire. You haven't let me down yet. Mighty Thor #1. Aaron's. Bro fist, dude. Bam. Mr. Aaron's. If I was doing picks of the week, this would have been my pick of the week. This was good. Now, in this issue alone, we get to know what it is like for Jane Foster as to be wielding that power of Mjolnir and then reverting back to her state, going back. What's it like? How does she feel? Things like that. Man, there's a lot of situation that's going on in Asgardia, especially with people, the Asgardians really not. Things have changed, especially the people of Asgardia. There's papers all over Asgardia with Jane's face on it, calling her a false Thor. So not all the Asgardians really like her as Thor, which you generally can understand. Odin's just sits up in a tower, having the destroyer armor protect him. Odin's becoming a real douche. And this is where the dick move comes in even more, because he imprisoned his wife Frigga in jail, and it's like, what the fuck? There seems to be a war coming between the other realms, and we already see there are body parts of light elves scattered all over space, and it was just like, oh my god, that was sick. And Jane is doing everything she can as Thor to protect it. Now you're probably saying to yourself, so Chris, what's going on with the real Thor? Thor Odin's son. The Prince of Asgardia or Asgard has not been seen. They can't find him, or as they said, as Jane says, he just doesn't want to be found. Not even Heimdall himself can find the prince with his all-seeing eyes. So it's like, ugh. But this was good, and the ending, I kind of saw it coming, Mr. Aarons. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of saw that coming, that you were gonna go that route. But I am looking forward to seeing this character interact with the goddess of thunder. Good stuff. All right, New Avengers number 3. Still not really feeling Sandoval's artwork. I don't like everybody having that spiky hairstyle and kind of clunky overbite chin. But basically, the main gist of this is that Hulkling gets kidnapped from Earth, basically by what's the remaining, I guess, of the Kree after we saw what happened to Hala. Hala was destroyed, the Kree homeworld. But this is pretty much kind of remembering that Hulkling is he's destined to, the people, the Kree and Skrull believe he's destined to rule over the two races because he is the hybrid. He's a hybrid. His mother was a Skrull. His father, of course, is the original Captain Marvel. So, and that's pretty much the gist of this. So this was okay. And of course, the story's nothing I have never seen before. Such gets kidnapped, taken off world. The rest of the team go after. There you go. That's all this was. Sam Wilson, Captain America, number 3. Look, Mr. Spencer, I'm gonna be honest here. Keep it real, 100%. I wasn't feeling this this issue. I really don't care about Sam being turned into a hybrid werewolf, and he's fighting this doctor who got eaten by Carnage. Carnage spit him out, and now he's got like essence of the symbiote in him. And I was just basically, all this felt like to me was an issue of basically Captain America meets the island of Dr. Monroe, and I was just like, yeah, okay, just get back to the real story at hand. Yeah, this is the only thing I will say, Mr. Spencer, is that I do like where you're going with, and with a certain society. Let me say that again: a certain society coming back into the fold. So yeah, but other than that, I wasn't feeling. But you want to talk about something I was feeling? Bam, yeah, Spider Woman #1. Hopeless Rodriguez Lopez. Yeah, Jessica's pregnant. Do we know who the father is? No. But she does. We get a sense of what Jessica is going through, and how she is feeling about this. How she's feeling about being a mother, about to be soon to be a mother. How does she feel about this? How does she feel about that? You know, she can't do a lot of stuff, especially people are, no, you can't do that, and Jessica's like, you know, she wants to take a ride on her motorcycle. People are like, she can't do it. Carol is, of course, being a good friend, her best friend, and Jessica even tells her future child, talking to her child, like, that's going to be your godmother. So yeah, it'd be cool to see. She gets a little celebration from the other heroes. She gets to talk to Spider-Man. Spider-Man's telling her, she's like, I don't like these big events. This is one reason why I left the Avengers. And Spidey's like, come on, Drew. You enjoy it. Tony being a prick, and he kind of goes over and says, so who's the father? And of course, is Jessica gonna tell? No. Hawkeye, being that, remember, Hawkeye and Jessica were item at one point, and Hawkeye comes over and is like, yeah, hey, you're big, you're huge, you look great though, but you're huge. You sure you're not having twins? But she starts going through her maternity day cycle, and it's just like, it was so funny. This was so good. This was really good. But I'm hoping that they do tell us who just the father is. Um, I'm just not hoping it's not Ben Urich or some shit like that. I'll be kind of, but I have this strong feeling that this is it probably was a one night stand with some guy or somebody, and she got pregnant a couple months later. But it makes you wonder more: is this, will her future child have powers? Or will he or she inherit mommy's abilities or something else? But other than that, this was fun. Spider Woman #1. All right. We move on to Uncanny Avengers annual #1 of this year. First of all, gotta love that Mike Diodato cover. Yeah. Um, this was good. It takes place in the 1940s, and then later on in modern. And James Robinson does the writing for this, so I was on board, and I knew I could trust him. Basically, it's this issue kind of goes on what was going on when Cap was frozen, because other men have taken up the mantle of Captain America after Steve was frozen, you know, and we got to see his replacement during the time after, like, it takes place 1947, and we get to see a group of individuals who are into the supernatural, the mystics, and they're called the department. It's called the Department of Uncanny, funded by the government, and basically they are hunting down a Nazi witch called Von Hate. I think that was her name. Yeah. You have characters like Agatha Harkness, the same woman that trained Wanda. We have another character named Ghost Dancer, who's kind of like a little bit of maybe an older school version of Brother Voodoo. We have this character right here. He's Irish. He's called the Emerald Warlock. And then later it comes to the present, and they call in the Avengers, the Unity Squad, to help them track down someone they thought was gone. We did get to see the Wizard. It was good to see the Wizard, old school speedster from old days of Marvel. It was good to see him, and we get to see that the Emerald Warlock is he's not who he says claims to be. He's not a not good. Okay, let's put it like that. And that was really that interests me the most. And we see that him and Agatha Hartman basically had. He always tried to hit on Agatha. You know, he always tried to. You know, basically, to quote Dashi, he tried to get that puss. So, but he couldn't get it. He couldn't get it, and he kind of has a grudge against that in a sense. Or he realizes he's never been good. I'm gonna spoil that for you. But what makes it even cool is that we're gonna see him again in Scarlet Witch's series, and I was really anxious not. I was really like, I don't know if I'm gonna pick that up, but now if he's gonna be in it, I may pick it up because I want to see why he's gonna. Now I can understand why he's gonna probably go after Wanda. But yeah, the guy's a real Irish dick, and I'm not saying that about any. I'm not saying that in terms of all Irish characters, but this guy is an Irish dick. Yeah, and what he did to Ghost Dancer, that pissed me off. I was like, what the fuck? We move on to Uncanny Inhumans. Charles Soule, Steve McNiven. Mmm, Mr. Soul. That's for you, sir. You are doing a bang up job with the Inhumans. I don't really want to ruin anything from this issue. You read it for yourself. But there's one thing I want to talk about is basically now that Medusa and Johnny Storm are a couple, an item. We were wondering how is Black Bolt gonna feel about that? Well, Black Bolt is a man of few words, right? Because if he does talk, be somewhere else. However, Black Bolt is a man of honor as well. And he knows that, look, okay, he accepts it. However, when Medusa goes away and Johnny starts walking away, Black Bolt grabs him on the shoulder. Medusa. Now remember, Medusa is still walking away. And he points to Medusa. Like basically saying, look, we may not be together like that anymore, but I still love that woman. She's my heart. Black Bolt. So and there's like a candle right there next to him. And he basically Black Bolt takes his hand, puts the hand over the fire, not doing a damn thing to him, I guess, and then he just squashes the fire out. So basically what Black Bolt was implying is if you hurt her, that's gonna be you. I'm putting your flame out. And I'm just like, Johnny, if you mess up, because let's face it, they played up in this issue too. Johnny has dated Medusa's sister, Crystal, so it's like, yeah, now you're dating the queen. So it's like, okay. But the other stuff in this that deals with Kang the Conqueror, my God, Mr. Soul, I applaud you, sir. If you're doing this on Inhumans, I cannot wait to read your Daredevil even more because I don't even want to spoil what that was. What the hell? And that's not the only thing Soul is going to be right. He's Soul has the Inhumans down. That's his stuff. You know, not just with the Uncanny Humans. Then he has the all new Inhumans coming out, and yeah. But that was good. Other than that, guys, I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed my take, my review. Tell me in the comment section below, did you enjoy the last week's books? Um, little bit of some news, guys. I want to tell us to you guys. No, I'm not going away. That's not what this is about. But next week, I won't be putting up my review for the books that came out. That's coming out this week. Um, I'll be putting it up next week. I'll have a double. The next issue. What is this? Episode 158. Episode 159 will be 2 weeks, basically. Got Christmas shopping coming up, guys. So things like that. So gonna take some time. But other than that, yeah, not going anywhere. It's just I'll put it up later. But other than that, guys, you guys take care. Have a safe holiday. Don't eat too much. Uh, say a prayer to all the fallen as well. And I just don't mean the soldiers that are happening now. I'm talking about the indigenous people that have, you know what I mean. But other than that, this is Mom Ray Kid. Y'all take care, guys.